So now under the chapter heredity, few things we have discussed already, and the next we are going to discuss again. DNA, its structure and replication, a basic thing I have explained you in my last video. Gene, I told you which part of the DNA is called as the gene, and the chromosome already we have studied right from our lower classes. Now here one more thing was added, alleles. That is the alternate genes, that was also explained to you. Now when talking about the characters as Mendel has taken and how he has done, there was a character taken by him, tallness and dwarfness. So this tallness was denoted by capital T. Here both I am taking the capital T, and dwarfness was denoted by small t. So here both small t. Children, here one more term will come here where you are saying that both are the capital T, here both are the small t, that is the alleles or the traits is denoted by the capital and the small t, and both are of the same type. When these both are same, it is called as homozygous. Okay, either capital or small doesn't matter, but both are of the same form, then it is called as the homozygous. In the first generation, Mendel saw that when tall plant and dwarf plant are bred, then what happens? This type of thing he got. What was this generation? F1 generation, or the first filial generation. This is called as the first filial generation. The offspring of the first generation were having this character, and the alleles were of the capital T and small t type. This is called as the heterozygous condition. Heterozygous condition. The trait is denoted by the capital as well as the small t. But what was observed? The plant here was, by seeing this you can know that the plant is tall. Here it is that the plant is dwarf. In the first generation, this character is found in the alleles. So this was what? Again the plant was tall only, not dwarf, though their genetic combination was capital and small t. Now what he thought, that means dwarfness is not expressed over here. So what happened? Tallness is dominant on dwarfness. So capital T was dominant on small t. That is, tallness is dominant on dwarfness. In the other words, we can say dwarfness is a recessive character. Dwarfness was a recessive character to the tallness. Tallness is masking the dwarfness. Mask means covering up. It is not letting here in the F1 progeny to express the dwarfness. So in the genes, if capital T were present, then the small t, that is dwarfness, was not expressed. Only tallness is expressed. So from here what we understand, that if it is capital T both, or if it is capital and small t, in both the condition only tall plants are there. In both the conditions only tall plants are there. So this is what for the F1 generation. That means how the dwarfness will be expressed. From seeing here you can see when both the T are small, then only dwarfness is expressed. This you can see from such kind of a board also. You can see how this we can denote in the form of a box or a checker board. This capital T and small t, how they are going to distribute. This is the, suppose this is the father's gene, this is the mother's, it is male and female. Two parents are different. Here it is the female, here it is the female. What happened? This is the male, capital T and capital T. So here also it will be like this, and here these both are getting separated. You know helical model of DNA, I told you. Two helix are there. One helix will, the DNA will open, the chain will open, and one strand this is. And here again it is in this form. Fine. Then the dwarfness is getting like this. So it is all the replication of DNA, how that strand is opening and going to the offspring. In this box what we are going to get? Capital T along with this small t. In this box again we are going to get capital T and then small t. Here also we will get a capital T and a small t, and here also capital T and a small t. So what we are seeing, everywhere it is capital small. That means this is going to be tall, this is going to be tall, this is also tall, and here also it is tall. So that is how again it comes that in the first generation all the offsprings are having the same combination of capital and small t, and this is what F1 generation progeny is having, all tall offsprings, or we also say progeny. So this is what, when Mendel was taking only one character into account, one character, one trait, that is tallness or dwarfness. Next we will see that how if he was taking into account different characters, two characters. But here children, F1 generation, then F2 generation, all those things also we have to see. Now suppose this F1 generation is now giving progeny to the next generation. Then what will happen? From this board it is going to be very helpful for you. The male parent is of this combination and the female parent is also of this combination. Fine. There was homozygous and this is heterozygous, you know. But here what is happening, that both are heterozygous. Such situations can be asked to you. If both the parents are heterozygous, then what is going to happen? Here children, one term more is sometimes it is said homozygous pure. That means both the alleles or the trait giving genes are of the tallness only. So it is said that this tallness is pure. And this dwarfness is also pure because both it is denoted by the small t only. But here though it is tall, but it is not pure, because the genes denoting the dwarfness is also hidden over there. But it is what? Masked by this. So this is not pure. This is only pure and this one is not said to be pure. So sometimes we use the word homozygous tall, homozygous dwarf. So by that word you can understand it is both are of the same letter, either capital or small. Now here if I say what is going to happen in this case, if I am drawing the diagram for this now, various type of checkerboards you should know how to draw, but this small 4 one is for single character taking into account. Here the male is, and here I am showing the female. Suppose this will be T, this will be small t because they are heterozygous, and here also this will be capital T and this is going to be small t. Fine. Now you know how to write here. One will be capital T of the father, another is capital T of the mother. Here we have, see, capital letter is written first and then we write the small letter, capital T and then the small t. Here we have capital T and then we have the small t, and here what we are going to have, both are the small ones, small and the small t. Fine. Why I am showing you this with different colors, so that you should know that this black one is male parent and this capital T is coming here, and there again the small t from the male parent is coming here. Okay, here capital T is coming from the male parent, small t from the female, small t from the male, and then small t from the female. Now here what combinations are you seeing, children? From here it is clear to you very well, both are capital T, that means the plant is going to be tall. Here also this is dominant character we know, so this plant will also be tall. Here we see again a capital T, so this plant is also going to be tall, and here we don't have the capital T, that means the plant is going to be dwarf over here. So what you saw here, capital T is there, capital T, small t, capital T, small t, two are there, and then one is the small t and small t. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 1. So this is the ratio in which the plants we are getting. This again is the case for F2 generation. Why? Because offsprings here were, F1 generation were capital and small t. We have just crossbred these only. So this we are going to get in the F2 generation. This is the next generation of after this. This is the ratio. Now what we will say here, it is homozygous tall, homozygous tall, this one. Okay, this 2, for this we will say heterozygous tall. This is heterozygous tall, and this is homozygous, this is homozygous dwarf. So from here it is clear that tallness is there if even one of the gene is capital T, then also this trait is expressed in the offspring. And here what happens, this trait is, dwarfness trait is only expressed when both of them are in the homozygous condition. Finally what we get here, till here, okay, 4 offsprings we are getting, no, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we are getting, 3 is to 1 ratio of tall and dwarf. These are the various methods, means how we have to depict all these things. So this is what, 3 is to 1 ratio of tallness and dwarfness. So this is called as the phenotypic ratio. Again one term is coming here, phenotypic. As I told you in my lecture, phenotypic means that physical trait or the appearance wise, how it is appearing, appearance wise. Phenotypic. So in appearance we are seeing that the plant is tall. Inside that, how the genes are there, we are not taking into account. So we saw that 3 plants were tall and 1 was dwarf. That means 3:1 ratio. But 1:2:1 is the genotypic ratio. Genotypic means gene wise, if we are taking into account the genes. So genotypic ratio, and this is the phenotypic ratio. It is asked to you children in the exams that write the F2 generation, the genotypic ratio, or write the phenotypic ratio of the F2 generation when the homozygous tall and dwarf parents were crossbred. And then what was the ratio in the F1? It is all are tall only. But what is the F2 generation ratio? If it is as genotypic, you will write 1:2:1, and if it is as phenotypic, you will write 3:1. So this is what is the first portion what Mendel has explained to us, taking into account only one character trait, that is tallness or dwarfness. Such things can further go, children, if he would have taken 2 traits at a time. Okay, like yellow colored flower and wrinkled seeds, round and wrinkled seeds, as well as the flower of that plant. Okay, such examples again we will discuss afterwards. This time you just keep in mind how this all things are coming: chromosome, DNA, gene, alleles, and then homozygous, pure. Homozygous is called as the pure, and heterozygous can be called impure or with having the different genes. Then here it is dominant and recessive characters. In the DNA, just to revise, this is the place which is the genes, and this loci in parent, father and mother again will be allele. So here the alleles are shown, how these are coming, and this is also coming from their parent, this is coming from their parent. Everywhere you will know that all these are coming from their parent. F1 generation, then it is the F2 generation, what is the ratio, and all has to be kept into mind thoroughly, so that if different type of questions are asked, or you are asked to write the ratio, checkerboard to represent it, so you will be able to explain it well. Okay.
Between 1856 and 1863, Gregor Mendel, an Austrian monk, grew and studied peas. That probably doesn't sound that exciting, but what he learned about genetics changed everything. Let's look at what he did. Mendel bred pea plants, looking for many different traits like color, or wrinkly or round seeds, or tall or short plants, among other things. Once he had a purebred trait, he would run an experiment. Mendel crossed 2 purebred traits. We'll look at green versus yellow colored peas. When the offspring grew, he found that all of the peas were yellow. He couldn't understand why the green trait disappeared. Why didn't the peas have a 50-50 chance of being green or yellow? To explore this further, he took 2 peas from the first filial, or F1 generation, that was just made, and he bred them together. Yes, this is inbreeding, but they're peas, so no one seems to mind. When the second filial generation arrived, F2, 75% of the peas were yellow, but 25% were green. The green peas seem to disappear in the F1, but magically reappear in the F2 generation. What could be happening? Mendel decided that there were factors, which we now call genes. The genes could be either dominant or recessive, and dominant alleles or traits mask recessive alleles. In this case, the yellow is dominant, and the green is recessive. So the purebred parents made offspring that had green and yellow alleles, but only the yellow showed because it was dominant. And when the F1 generation bred, there was a chance that they could both give the recessive allele to the offspring, so the green peas showed up again. If you could look at the chromosomes in the pea plants, you would find the gene for seed color. A gene is a section of DNA that controls a trait. The different seed colors have different alleles, which are variations of a gene, like green or yellow. Allele is a fun word to say, and it's actually even more fun to write in cursive, but you can try that next time you're bored. Now you get 2 alleles for every gene, because you have a set of chromosomes from mom and a set of chromosomes from dad, and the same is true for plants. When you write alleles, dominant alleles get capitalized letters, and recessive alleles are lowercase. If a dominant and recessive allele are together, it's called heterozygous. Hetero means different, and the alleles are different, so that makes sense. If the alleles are the same and dominant, we call that homozygous dominant. Homo means same. If the alleles are the same and recessive, we call them homozygous recessive. The letters we choose here are arbitrary, but it's good to use letters that are very different when you view capital and lowercase versions, otherwise it can be confusing. So letters like O aren't good, but letters like Y, T, or R are great. In pea pods, green is dominant over yellow. If these are the genotypes or allele combinations, what are the phenotypes? Having just one dominant allele of the gene will make it green in this case. So there are 2 green pods and 1 yellow pod. Now this is pretty simple, but let's try thinking about this in terms of making gametes. Assuming tallness is dominant, what would the genotype look like for a man who's homozygous for tall? And what are the possible gamete combinations? Now because tall is dominant, this would be a homozygous dominant genotype, 2 capital letters. Again, you can choose any 2 letters you like, but I'm going to use T for tall. When gametes form, only half of the DNA is in each cell, so only 1 allele can go to each of the sperm that are formed. There's only one possible gamete combination in this case, capital T, the tallness gene. But let's try another case. What would the genotype look like for a woman who's heterozygous for tall? And what are the possible gamete combinations? Now heterozygous means different alleles, so this will be written with a capital and a lowercase t. This also means that there are 2 possible gamete combinations, an egg with a big T for the tallness gene, or an egg with a little t for a short gene. Heterozygous traits will have more variation in their offspring. Thanks for watching this episode of Teacher's Pet. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me on Twitter.